Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mick McMichaels here on behalf of Extreme CAW Wrestling, and this morning I woke up to the news that our community had lost an undeniable titan of this very niche industry we all call CAW Wrestling. And of course, like many others, I was compelled to write something about our dear friend, Eddie Mack. And for those of you who may not know who Eddie was, he was the creator and owner of the CAW Champions League. And in the past 8 years, he has ran one of the most devoted, consistent programs in CAW wrestling history. Eddie's devotion to CCL and his craft was inspiring and very often indirectly shed some inspiration on me, as well as I'm sure many others, with his creativity, his passion, and his love for CAW wrestling. It was clear to all of us that knew him or watched his shows that Eddie absolutely loved doing this. And it was clear that CAW wrestling and this community was there for him in his darkest of times. And of course, in return, Eddie was there for us in our darkest of times. And it goes without saying that with the news of his passing, a little bit of light was lost in this community. But I am grateful to have had it in the first place. With Eddie's positivity and love that he spread throughout the CAW Universe, truthfully, in reality, none of that will ever be lost. In past years, I've had the pleasure of working alongside and calling some matches with Eddie Mack, something in hindsight I wish I had had the chance to do more often. I will always regret not having him call a match with me in Extreme CAW Wrestling, something that Eddie and I had talked about doing in the past. And in our very first match we called together at CAW All-Stars 10, the match between Blade Myers and Tyrant, I recall Eddie telling me that he was so nervous and honored to be calling a match alongside me for the first time. The truth of it was, I was the nervous one. I knew Eddie's prowess on the mic and what he brought to the table, and in reality, I was the one to be honored to be calling that match with him for the very first time. I considered myself the lucky one, and I will forever be grateful for Eddie for those opportunities we had together, and even more grateful that we will continue to stand alongside each other as fellow CAW All-Stars Hall of Fame inductees until the end of time. Eddie was an absolutely legendary match caller, as many of you know. One of the best in the business, truthfully. He could bring a match to life with his carefully crafted words without revealing too much and giving anything away. But he'd also nail home that big moment that we were all waiting for, or the one we didn't see coming. Eddie was a pro and inspired many others, including myself, to do better and put the work in on this very niche craft that we all take part in. That much was crystal clear, and from working with him, I got a very real sense that Eddie Mack and Eddie Dorsey were very much the same kind, creative, passionate individual we saw and heard in these shows, and it wasn't an act or a character. He was the real deal. In recent past, Eddie had announced that CCL would soon be closing its doors for good, leaving behind an undeniable legacy that would be hard to match from any other promotion in CAW wrestling today. Over the past 8 years, CCL has amassed over 1,300 videos uploaded to the CCL page on YouTube. That's approximately one video uploaded every 2 days. He had amassed over 1,000 subscribers, a number that arguably should have been much higher than that, but I remember the day when Eddie reached the 1,000 sub milestone. He was so happy and proud to have finally reached it. But again, in reality, he should have reached it a long time before that. He put in a lot of work on CCL, among others. Putting aside all the fancy statistics and numbers, it pales in comparison to the dedicated performer Eddie Mack was. He gave everything he had to CAW wrestling, and it was clear through his work that he loved every drop of it. Perhaps we can all learn to be a bit more like Eddie, and if there's something out there that we are all passionate about, to dive headfirst into it and just go for it. It doesn't matter what other people think at the end of the day. As long as you're happy and you're passionate about it, that's really what matters. As I sat at my desk with tears in my eyes this morning upon hearing the news, I asked myself, why am I emotional over someone I've never actually met or knew in real life? Why is this hitting me so hard? Well, the answer is simple. There will only ever be one Eddie Mack. The CAW community will never have another Eddie Mack. For those of us lucky to be brought into his gravitational pull, we can consider ourselves lucky. And for those of you who may not have gotten the pleasure, the CCL YouTube page will hopefully live on for years to come, so we can all continue to enjoy Eddie's work for eternity. In the meantime, I will continue to reflect on the friend many of us have had the pleasure of entertaining us over the years, and will use this inspiration he's given us, and I will personally be putting it into my show as much as I possibly can in the future. Our time here isn't guaranteed, and we might as well make the best of it. Eddie would want that. At ECW's upcoming CPV Nowhere to Run, we will be celebrating the life of Eddie Mack and his gigantic contributions to this CAW community in the only way we know how, and just how he would have wanted it. And that'll be putting on a great show that the fans will remember forever. Thank you for everything, Eddie.
Select the one to fight with, get it on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Pick and choose the right one, get it on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yeah. Select the one to fight with, get it on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Yes, sir. Pick and choose the right one, get it on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's time for you to get into the character. You here to lose or here to win, I'm only asking you. Either you beat him or get beaten like an amateur. Either you drive or you get driven like a passenger. The fight's around the corner, so pick the one you want to. Represent your way, go head to head with your opponent. Feel it in the air, tension is electric. The glory's imminent, this is something epic. It's for one of you, so what you gonna do? When your enemy is standing right in front of you, are you gonna lose, or are you gonna prove to everyone that never thought you win that you can rule? Cause everything is in your hands, you control it. And everything that is the past, it is over. This is now, this is everything that is. So you better make the right pick. Select the one to fight with, get it on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Pick and choose the right one, get it on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Select the one to fight with, get it on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Pick and choose the right one, get it on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Select